You absolutely cannot just throw some feet pictures up and make money at it. I started and it took me months before I made anything. You can't just put your feet up on Feet Finder and make a living.
Welcome back to On the Horizon. This is MelRose Michaels. I am your host, and I'm here to share what's worked for me in building my adult creator business to try to make building yours just a little bit easier. Let's get into today's episode. From toes to taboo, how Maleka turned her passion for foot modeling into a fetish art form, all without showing it all. Discover the secrets behind her creative evolution and how she's captivating niche audiences while staying true to her unique artistic vision. Let's introduce today's guest, Maleka Myprettyfeet8. A dedicated foot model since 2018, Maleka expanded her creative horizons in 2022 by venturing into fetish modeling. She excels in non-nude content, offering a wide variety of niches that cater to specific interests, all while staying true to her artistic vision. Maleka, thank you so much for joining us on the space today. I'm super stoked to have you on here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I wanted to ask you, how do you pronounce your name? Because I don't want to butcher it. And Brandon said it one way, and I was saying another, so I want to be sure.
It's Maleka.
Maleka. Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my intention was. So yeah, thank you for coming on and making the time. I appreciate it so much. And we haven't actually interviewed someone on this niche before, so I'm really excited to kind of get into this.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of good niche specific information for our audience. So can you kind of share with us how you first got into foot modeling and kind of what inspired you to kind of pursue that niche?
Well, since I was a little kid, I always dreamt of, the magazine foot modeling. It was always that little starry-eyed dream, but I actually found out about this type of modeling because my husband came home and told me one of his coworkers sold his socks on eBay. And I said, wait, what? And I looked into it and I found a blog about Instagram foot modeling. And I just kind of jumped into it without knowing anything at all. And just have learned along the way. I just kind of threw myself into it because I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a dream come true sort of thing.
That's amazing. I love that. Sometimes the feedback like that will come from the most unexpected places.
Right.
Like, oh, you should jump into this. You're like, well, I never would have thought about that. So that's super cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very glad.
Yeah. What do you think kind of the most common misconceptions about foot fetish modeling are? Because there's this common thread that we'll hear or stumble across on social media posts most often where people are like, I'm going to quit my job and sell feet pics online. Mm-hmm. And there's always this like throw to the wind comment. Do you think that in itself is also one of those misconceptions?
Oh, 100%. Yes. You absolutely cannot just throw some feet pictures up and make money at it. In fact, I came from a place where I didn't know anything, but I started and it took me months before I made anything. The biggest thing is you have to have an audience, and you can't just put your feet up on Feet Finder and make a living. You're going to be lucky to make like $30 a year or maybe make your membership fees back. It's not a short-term money thing. It definitely takes a long time to build that audience and to really get their trust as well, because the fans get scammed a lot too. So you have to really build trust in the community and have recommendations from other models and other fans that know that you're good. You know what I mean? So definitely a misconception that you can make money quickly. It's also a misconception that it's just a bunch of weirdos in the community. Yeah. These are just normal people that happen to like feet. They're all good guys. I mean, obviously, everywhere you go, there's going to be weirdos, but there's not more of them just because they like feet instead of boobs. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We don't kink shame here. And I think that's something that is like, community wide is like, we shouldn't be kink shaming. I definitely hear that sentiment held, in the civilian world a lot more often. But, there's something out there for everyone. I think, too, and this is what I also would love to speak on both things you do, because I think this is really unique and will be very valuable. But you also do non-nude content. So
Right.
could we talk about that a little bit as well? Was that a conscious decision that you made for your career also?
It absolutely was. When I first started, I actually didn't even show my face. I was one of those like, "Oh, just my feet. I'm afraid to show my face." And it just kind of has gotten, I show more and more. However, it's always stayed non-nude because one, I stick with what I feel comfortable with, right? You got to
Hmm.
stay where you're comfortable in your own lane. And also, it's come to my attention from foot fans that being nude is a distraction from the feet. So it's
Interesting.
very rare to have a model who stays completely covered. Now, do they like to see bikinis and, a little bit more skin? Absolutely. And I would get more work if I did offer a little bit more skin. However, it's a very unique thing to be completely covered all the time and just have those feet be the star all the time.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I
Mm.
the distraction part is so interesting because I have also gotten that feedback with some of like the more dom and fetish stuff I've made as well, which would be like the conversation, the language being used, or the tasks being demanded, and all of that, like the nudity or the cleavage or anything else that's like overtly sexual that's
Mm-hmm.
more mainstream can be taking away from the core message or the core kind of element of the content. So it makes
Right.
sense that feet
Because
would be very similar.
domination,
Yeah.
yeah, because domination is like, you don't deserve to see this. So
Yeah.
how dare you even think that you could, right?
Yeah, totally, totally.
Hmm.
What advice would you maybe give models who are curious about launching either foot fetish content specifically or also just non-nude content?
I would say definitely just make sure you're consistent. It's so important to be present online, and that's with anything you want to do online. You have to be present all the time. You have to stay with the trends. I recommend looking at clips for sale. Now, that's not the only clip store that you can go to, but it's very easy to search the trending topics, and the trends are always changing. So try to maybe make stuff that has to do with the trend and learn about it through maybe watching other creators do that type of work or even asking fans. You can always ask for advice on, Twitter, wherever it is. Just make sure that you're staying on top of everything and be consistent.
Yes,
Practice,
that
practice, practice.
yeah, that's right. That be consistent. That is like
Yeah.
the key for me always.
Hmm.
Is there any do or don'ts that you may have like learned along the way that you feel you wish you knew sooner?
Make sure that you first initially, before you even get started, if you haven't started yet, don't use anything from your personal life. If you have an email address that you've used before, don't use it. Make a whole new email address, make a whole new everything. Don't use anything from your personal life. That's so important. And if you have started with some stuff that you have used in the past, restart.
Yeah.
Change your email addresses. Staying private is probably one of the most important things as far as safety goes. And don't jump into things without maybe knowing exactly what it is. I think I started posing and didn't know how to pose my feet. So there are things that I did where I was nervous to show the bottoms of my feet because I thought they were too wrinkly. But I found out that that's actually a really good thing. So just
Yeah.
look around, figure out exactly what they want to see and then get started. Maybe just educate yourself a little bit more.
Definitely. I think research is so important when you're not even just getting into a new niche, but just like the industry as a whole, you know?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Do you, and this is something I was curious about because I am really big on copywriting,
Hmm.
because my opinion, most of the times the fans are coming to a page and before they ever pay to unlock any content, the few things that they do see, your profile pic, a banner pic, maybe your bio, and then the captions to the post
Hmm.
before they're unlocked. So the copywriting for me is a huge interest point because I think that's actually what sells and converts most of the content.
Right.
So, is there something you do differently with like captioning your posts and things like that to, increase conversions or to like allure people into purchasing content?
I would definitely say this is probably an area of struggle for me. However, I've gotten better at it. At
Mhm.
first, especially on OnlyFans, where you can see the captions if you set that setting up. And I do recommend If you've got an OnlyFans, set it to where they can see the words, but the pictures are blurred so that they can see what exactly you're posting. And at first I would just be like, oh, here's 20 pictures of my feet. But I've learned to get far more specific. Here's my oily feet. How about you come on my feet? Just being a little bit more sexual about it, being flirty, giving them exactly what it is with keywords is important too, because a lot of people don't know that OnlyFans does have an advertising system where they will recommend your profile to people who follow feet pictures, for example. So if they follow a lot of feet creators and you write feet all the time, they're going to recommend your profile to that person. So using those keywords is important for that type of thing. And just if they're looking at your profile and kind of scrolling down to see, okay, does she actually post heels? Does she actually post foot jobs? You have to be specific about what you're posting and also be a little flirty with it too.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's similar to the approach that I use just for my mainstream content. So it makes sense it would transfer over. I'm curious because you mentioned OnlyFans, but do you find that there's other platforms that have really helped with this niche fetish content, or is there one that you'd recommend?
OnlyFans definitely is the most popular. Begrudgingly, I have to admit that.
Yeah.
Because they're hating on us pretty hard. Loyal fans, I absolutely love. It's fantastic. It doesn't give us a hard time about anything, basically. The bondage, there's a lot of stuff that goes into all creating, but also the foot creating. All those little niches that go into everything else goes into foot as well. And OnlyFans, you can't really post that there. So Loyal Fans has been fantastic with that. I would say Twitter is probably the easiest as far as social media goes with being able to post our content. IG kind of sucks. You really can't do anything on there. You have to be super, super careful. But I would suggest Loyal Fans.
Loyal fans. Okay. And that's usually where a lot of our fetish creators in our community end up, from what we can tell as well. So it makes
Yeah. Yeah. We just got to get the fans there,
Yeah. Yeah. If they would just migrate like birds the way we would love them to. If you're enjoying this podcast episode so far, please take one moment to share it with another one of your adult content creator friends, because you know what the rule is here. We do not gatekeep, and we want to make as many adult creators' businesses as easy as possible. And you sharing this episode with them might do exactly that. Thanks so much in advance. You mentioned social media a minute ago, and I am so curious because I'm not solely a foot fetish creator, but in your mind, you would imagine that posting feet, for example, to Instagram would be allowable and it wouldn't affect shadow bans and you could probably funnel traffic. Is that the case?
Oh, no. Oh, no. They hate feet on Instagram.
Interesting.
They absolutely hate it. And I have learned, though, that it's soles. So if you have your soles showing, that is considered nudity, like full blown. Wow. Your whole body is nude on Instagram if your soles are showing. So you have to be extremely careful. If they are kind of showing, you're not actually talking about it. Maybe they're really down low. The Instagram that I recently started, because my original one was, of course, deleted, I just started out with just my nails. Oh, here I am posting my pretty pedicure, keeping it very, very, I'm not a foot model.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to be very careful on YouTube as well. You cannot have your soles in the middle of the screen. So as long as they're off to the side and you're not specifically trying to advertise that here's my feet, it's okay.
Wow.
You have to be very, very careful.
That's so interesting, especially with your mention of like the placement on the screen. I would have never known that.
Yep. If it's right in the middle, they will age restrict it or delete it.
Wow. Is there a way that you kind of monitor or I guess navigate like the constant changes with terms of service on platforms or social media platforms specifically, like to know something like that? Because obviously it wouldn't have always been that way. Is there something you track, or do you just regularly check terms of service? Like, how do you know things like that?
Well, trial and error, really. My original YouTube just recently got deleted. And so I found out a new policy from that, too late, obviously, where you cannot have your OnlyFans link in the video. So if it says onlyfans.com/whatever, you will get, what's it called? The channel strike on your YouTube. And I did not know that. So it's kind of, I've learned through trial and error, and I lost my original YouTube from finding this stuff out. Now I think I've got it figured out now, but we will see. Maybe I'm breaking some rule that I didn't know was there. I guess I'm just the tester.
Guinea pig. Well, and also too, shameless plug, but we do talk about some of these things inside CEO Society, our close community for creators. So like,
Mhm.
for example, posts like that, like I just got my YouTube channel taken down because I, had the written link in my video. Like it's insights
Yeah,
like that that are getting shared there that I think are so useful because we get to learn from everybody's, challenges and triumphs. This
yeah,
way we don't have to repeat the same mistakes. So that piece of
exactly.
information that you just gave is going to help so many people not, have to go through that now, which is
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to do a feet one, you absolutely can, but don't sit there and talk about feet. Like on my new YouTube, I do movie reviews. I just talk about movie, but I happen to be bare feet or I'm dangling and they're off to the
Mm,
side.
I
So it's
love
kind
that.
of like a workaround there.
Yeah, oh, that's so clever. Okay. Is there any kind of top tips that maybe you would give around creating content, especially around creating content consistently?
Yeah, I post a ton on my fan pages, and it seems like it's a lot to keep up with. But when I am filming a custom, if for instance they want me in pantyhose and heels, that's not something that I'm normally walking around in. So I make sure I film the customs, and then I'm going to film some teasers. I'm going to film some photos. I'm going to film a pre-made video that not only can I sell on my clip stores, but I can also post on my fan pages so that they can enjoy. That's not the custom. So I'm using whatever I'm already in and just creating stuff really quick, just pumping it out very quickly while I'm already in that position. For instance, I'm on the desk. So I would do stuff desk related simply because I'm here, you know. So
Okay,
I
so
kind
you're
of
like
use
batch
the time
shooting.
and space. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's really effective because especially if you're going out of your way to do something that's unusual for a custom, you're already in it. So you may as well
Yeah.
kind of double dip.
Yes, exactly.
Is there something that you do to keep your content like exciting and fresh? Because we have a lot of conversations around that where creators kind of feel like, I've done everything that's within my boundaries 100 times and I have all these videos, like they must be getting bored of me. Is there something you do to keep your stuff more exciting?
I definitely feel that. And working alone can get very boring too. You feel bored when you're working alone. Um, I like to work with other people. It's my favorite thing to do. Even if you don't have someone near you or you don't travel, you can collab with someone online. They can film part of a clip and you can film the other part. And you guys put those clips together and you share it. Or you can do a trade where she has an idea and you have an idea and you trade these clips, but you're both in the clip, but separately. You know what I'm saying? And if
Yeah.
you're really good at editing, you can put them together. I'm sure, like a foot compare or any kind of compare. So you're collaborating with somebody and you don't even have to be there. But I really enjoy working with other people. And I, there's so many things that go into foot fetish, from casting. I'm about to put a real cast on my foot and doing content in that, to karate. Uh, there's all kinds of different things that go along with the niche. So I just try to make sure that I am doing something new that is still things fans want to see.
Okay.
Just keeping
I
it
love
fresh.
that. Yeah, just staying creative with it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've built a really cool and strong brand around Maleka Myprettyfeet8. And I'm curious, are there, intentional things or strategies that you sought after that you built while building your brand? Like, is there a path or some part of your journey that, finally became the brand that you built? Because a lot of creators ask us questions around brand, and everyone I think does approach it differently when they get to where they're going, but I think
Mm-hmm.
their journeys might look a little bit different.
Absolutely. I think I did not have a strong idea of brand or branding. When I first started, I knew nothing. I didn't have any goals in mind. I didn't have a future plan. I just kind of started. And then as I was going along, I'm realizing that my brand is kind of the girl next door, more wholesome, more educator based as far as helping the other foot models as well. And I think that my brand is, I don't even know how to just word my brand. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's one of the harder things for me is, okay, my brand is me, but what am I? Who am I? I feel like I'm just that non-nude model. I don't know. That's a hard one.
I know, I totally see where you're coming from because it's like, how do you have almost the elevator pitch of your brand? Like
Right.
that's tough to do, especially because no one likes talking about themselves, right?
Yes. I don't know. Am I good at this? I don't know.
When you were building out like your socials and your profile, like
Mhm.
did you try to get the same name cross-platform? Do you use the same like style of font with stuff? Do you do any of that like unintentionally, I guess?
Absolutely. That's a very good tip is to keep your name the same on everything as much as possible. That way people can find you. If they, my Twitter is mfeet8 because Twitter just made it that way. So, but if you Google myprettyfeet8, you're going to find a ton of stuff from me. And so eventually you're going to find my Twitter. So, and I make sure that that's in the name that you can write out in the bio area, keeping it very, very consistent, including both of my OnlyFans and loyal fans. It's all myprettyfeet8. The only ones that are different, obviously, is the YouTube, but I make sure to sprinkle in my name in the videos so that if
Yeah.
someone is searching on YouTube, myprettyfeet8 or Maleka, they will find one of my videos at least to be able to find me. Because that's one of the important things with fans and continuing on in the business is to make sure that they can find you everywhere.
No, entirely. That brings me to kind of this next thing I want to talk to you about, which is the fans, really. Like
Mm-hmm.
every creator has mentioned, in our community or in passing, how do you engage with fans? How do you get them commenting? How do you get them liking, responding to DMs, just getting them active, commenting on social posts, everything, all the engagement questions. Is
Mm-hmm.
there some way or something you do that keeps your fans engaged and responsive on your platforms?
I feel it's super, super important to comment back on as many things as possible. If they write something, sometimes if it's just a heart, I don't know what to say or besides sending a heart back. But if there's
Mhm.
anything even slightly engaging, engage back. And a lot of the times they'll comment again or they'll continue to comment on your stuff because you're talking to them. And a lot of these guys in this industry or any industry, any sex work industry, they're lonely. They want to
Yeah.
have interactions. And especially on your fan pages, if you are talking to them all the time, then they feel as special as they should for having paid to see you. They want your attention. That's why they're there. So being very engaging and making sure that you speak to them and treat them like people is
Yeah.
very important. And it helps with keeping them involved and excited too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I love that you said comment back into that they want that kind of access to you because I think a big misconception about this premium social media model of
Mm-hmm.
business, which is, the fan site model, so to speak, is that it's not that they're necessarily paying for content, but more so that people are paying for access to you.
Yeah.
So it's, 'cause there's content for free all over the internet, really. I mean, depending which
Mm-hmm.
state you're in, it might be age restricted and you might need an ID to see it now. But
Right.
overall, there's no shortage of content anywhere. But the premium social media model or the fan site model really highlights that people want access to their favorite creators. They want to be able to DM you, to comment to you, to have an interaction with you. And when the creators aren't responsive to the comments or to the DMs, also like
Mm-hmm.
that will slowly start to train your audience and fan base not to engage with you because they can't
Yep.
expect engagement back. So I love that you brought up that point because I think it's so important to drive home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The more engaging you are, the more engaged they're going to be.
Yeah.
So just keep them there.
Yeah. Is there this is, I guess, more of a landscape question for the
Mhm.
industry and for your niche specifically, but is there, somewhere you see the foot fetish industry heading in the next few years? And like, if there is, are you preparing for any of those kind of changes that you're predicting?
I definitely feel like because of the boom in 2020 and all the fresh models that came in thinking they could make millions or even
Mhm.
thousands being feet pic sellers, they're going to drop off because realizing how difficult it actually is a whole different ballgame, and how you're going to be working 40, 50 hours a week, even if it's just posting a tweet,
Mhm.
or replying to a comment. You're going to be online all the time. You're going to be working all the time. And I think a lot of these are going to drop off. I think the trend of selling feet pics is going to go down. And that means that those fans are going to buy more from the fans, or the models rather, who have been around for a long time and who are staying consistent. And in the community, it's been around since way before social media. They had little forums on AOL and like Yahoo. And these models have been around for 14, 15, 16 years doing their thing, and they're still here. And so I just want to stay. I want to be one of those. I want to be a staple in the community and be one of the people that when they hear, oh yeah, I worked with Myprettyfeet8, or I saw her, oh yeah, I've been following her for 13 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just have to stay.
Yeah. You brought up something in the beginning of this Twitter space that I would love to circle back to, and it was that um, you have to remember that the fans get scammed too.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you said this because I feel like so rarely do adult creators, or creators in general probably, but so rarely do they consider the fans' actual user experience.
Yeah.
This
Mm-hmm.
is so important because when you start to think about how the fans navigate these platforms, how they use these platforms, the creators they encounter on these platforms, like it really shows you and highlights where you can do better, where other people might be falling short. And like, so one of the things, for example, in my other company, SWR Data, we survey creators to figure out and give the data back to creators of like, what platforms are working for us, where most creators are earning the most money, like basically gather that data, give it to the community so the community can make data-driven decisions. And one of the things in data points that we got was that the average fan subscribes to 10 other creators. So if they are subscribing to 10 other creators, and that's the ones they're paying for. That's not even the free subscriptions that they probably hold. You can only imagine what like their inbox looks like, for example, like all the
Mm-hmm.
mass DMs they're getting and like all of these things. So out of all the creators on a platform like OnlyFans, I bet very few of them are actually responding to comments on
Mm-hmm.
their actual posts. So like that's an easy way that comes to mind to stand out that you mentioned.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then there's like just so many other things like that being consistent. So many creators are not consistent. So like the fans have been burned in that way where they subscribe and no one posts for 30 plus days. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I wanted to kind of bring us back to that topic because I do think it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear so often how fans are treated poorly when they're trying to spend money on you. They're
Yeah.
treated poorly. They're treated like scumbags, or they're treated like they're a scammer when all they want to do is have their fantasy fulfilled by you. They're coming to you to have their deepest, darkest desires fulfilled. And that, to me, at least, I think it's beautiful. I think I enjoy being able to be part of that and to help them realize a fantasy. And if you come to it in a space where, oh, this guy is messaging me, I hate it, I wouldn't do it. It's not a good. You've got to love what you do, and it'll come across. And don't treat them like crap. you
Yeah.
know, they're just people, and they can be nervous. They can be very,
Yeah.
very nervous to reach out to you.
Yeah.
You're a celebrity in their eyes. So if you're treating them like they're scum or they're beneath you, it's going to come across, and you don't want them to have that experience, because the best thing in this business is repeat fans,
Hmm.
repeat buyers. That's the most important thing.
Especially when you consider like how challenging it is on social media to stay on a platform as a creator and to funnel traffic to your adult platforms or pay sites, like the
Yeah.
challenge of just getting a fan to your subscription paywall is so difficult in
Hmm.
reality that if you've already gotten them there and they're already messaging and engaging with you, like why would you send them away essentially or upset them in a way that, given respect your boundaries and those things go unsaid, but
Right.
obviously you have to do that. But in general, the good fans that are just trying to come and spend money and engage, like it's so much work and effort to get them to your site. Whereas
Hmm.
if you treat them that way, you're sending them away and it's going to take so much effort to get the next one. Like
Yeah.
it's bad business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's got to be a level of professionalism and understanding of what their headspace is. They
Yeah.
might be nervous to tell you what they like. They've never told anybody what they like,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to niche fetish stuff. They are so scared sometimes to tell you. They haven't even told their wife their deepest fantasy, and they're coming to you. So if you tell them, "Ugh, I'm not doing that. That's freaking weird," or whatever you want to say, it's going to hurt them
Yeah.
deeply. So
Yeah.
you don't want that sort of thing to happen.
Yeah. Totally. We don't want to reinforce shame. We've got enough of that going
Mm-mm.
on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything that maybe we didn't touch on that you want to discuss before we start to wrap?
I think we covered everything. I think we got some good stuff going here.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. I know you dropped some serious gems in this space, and I'm really excited to get this on the podcast and to share this with the community. This was just an absolute pleasure. Where can
Awesome.
people find all your stuff? And if you could plug your socials?
Absolutely. My Twitter is MFeet8. My YouTube is Maleka's World, or you can follow the foot model one, which is Foot Model Success, where I am all about helping other creators do well in the foot fetish industry. And you can find me on, OnlyFans and Loyal Fans, Myprettyfeet8.
Love that. Thank you so much, Maleka, for taking the time to speak with us. I know a lot of creators are going to get tremendous value from this conversation.
Awesome. I really hope so. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to start to wrap up this space. If you haven't already seen, we have been putting out tons of new content over on our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to YouTube, please do so at youtube.com/SWCEO and make sure your notifications are on so that you never miss a new course or a vlog video. In our latest vlog, I break down the 5 core systems that have kept me consistent and profitable as an adult creator. Again, huge thank you to everyone who has tweeted us their testimonials for GPTs. We have released our new uncensored NSFW AI GPT, which is a generative AI chat tool designed specifically for adult creators. You can ask GPTs to give you 15 solo NSFW content ideas for OnlyFans, or to help you write a loyal fans bio, or help you respond to a DM that a fan sent you, say on Fancentro, if you're getting stuck and you're not sure what to say back. You can ask it to help you caption a PPV for a fetish clip that you're going to send to someone on SextPanther, or even for safer word captions for an Instagram picture or a viral tweet that you want to promote your platform or a new video that you just made. Your imagination is more or less the only limitation here. GPTs empowers you to produce high quality content effortlessly, allowing you to focus on what you do best, which is connecting with your fans and growing your business. Oh, and it's free. So once you sign up and see how it works and you get used to prompting, you can then start to personalize GPTs, upload your writing samples, your content genre and niche, and even your favorite signature emojis. And GPTs will learn to replicate your style, making it a true extension of you. So try GPTs by visiting gpts.ai. That is GPTEASE.ai. Always tweet us or GPT's AI for feedback because we'd love to continue to make this better for you. Now, I want to take this opportunity to draw your attention about my other company, SWR Data. My other company, in case you're not yet familiar, is on a mission to survey adult creators like you, and we want to hear your feedback about the challenges you face in the adult industry and how we can better serve your needs. Our goal is to collect your experiences, opinions, and observations about the current state of the adult industry, and then we'll use this data to provide the necessary changes to make it a better place for us, the creators. The reality is a lot of the people in power just have never been creators and don't have the lens to know what our needs are, and SWR Data is that lens. However, we can't do it alone, so we genuinely need your help. And for that, we are inviting any creator who's interested and willing to participate in our 2024 State of the Creator survey, which we have going on right now. So if you are interested in that and you want to participate, this is kind of a roundup look at the last year, 2024, of everything that has worked and hasn't worked for adult creators so that we can provide you that insight so you can make data-driven decisions for your business. So lastly, but most importantly, I want to emphasize that all of the information we put out on SWCEO, we do so for free because we believe in this idea that the more financially successful creators are, the more resources we'll have as a community to do things like lobby Congress, impact policy, organize, and more. So if you found value in the content you heard here today or the tweets that you've engaged with, etc., please consider sharing it to make this journey easier for your own adult creator friends. Our only ask is that you retweet our stuff so that we can help as many people as possible. Now, we will have a Twitter space on the following Tuesday, August 27th, with Bella Cummins, America's longest-serving female legal brothel owner and proprietor of Bella's Hacienda Ranch, a licensed brothel in Nevada. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. It would be absolutely incredible if you rated this podcast 5 stars and left a little review. We want to get this podcast to as many adult creators as possible, and you taking a second to leave a couple stars and a review really helps us do that. Thanks so much.